Hey guys, welcome to The Strong Young Man. The sanctity of marriage has been completely destroyed in the Western world. Marriage is no longer permanent, and people in the Western world don't treat marriage with the same level of seriousness as their grandparents did. There are very few reasons for a man to get married in the Western world, with family laws so heavily biased against men, and women receiving massive financial incentives to divorce. However, if the laws change to be fair in the future and you want to give marriage a chance, there are a few things you should abstain from prior to marriage. Abstention number 1. Don't live with a woman prior to marriage. If people want to increase the seriousness of marriage, then we need to adopt the same lifestyle that our grandparents had before they were married. Living separately until marriage meant that getting married brought about a big lifestyle change. The wedding was the moment in time where two people began sharing a life from that moment forward. Dwelling together has always been something that has flowed on from marriage, rather than marriage flowing on from living together. In order for marriage to mean more than just a signed contract, there needs to be a notable difference from the time before marriage to after marriage. If you're already living together prior to, also known as living in sin, the difference becomes invisible and you give the importance of marriage less and less meaning. The real reason that you shouldn't live together prior to marriage is that these marriages are less likely to result in divorce. Since the 1970s, study after study has found that premarital cohabitation saw an average of a 33% higher rate of divorce than those who waited to live together until after they were married. This is known as the premarital cohabitation effect. It's only correlational data, but there are too many variables and social factors that prevent us from conducting proper interventional studies. Here are the commonly accepted explanations for the correlation between premarital cohabitation and increased rates of divorce. Theory number 1. The types of people who cohabit before marriage are less likely to conform to the traditional standards of marriage. Theory number 2. The inertia of cohabitation. The cohabitors progress to marriage without much consideration. Instead of making a conscious decision to share an entire life together, couples that are living together are just a signed contract away from becoming married. Living together, mingling finances, and completely intertwining your lives makes it harder to break up than if you'd stayed at separate addresses. Even if a couple doesn't eventually marry, they might prolong the relationship and miss opportunities with another person who's a better fit. Regardless of what this correlation is caused by, even if it's caused by a different theory entirely, it's beneficial for you to adopt this system of values in order to give your marriage the best chance of working out. Note that studies have shown that there are no significant differences between those who cohabited after engagement and not at all before marriage, supporting a pre-engagement but not a premarital cohabitation effect. This can probably be attributed to varying levels of deliberateness. Engaged and married couples have committed to a future together, while some couples who cohabit before engagement are ambiguous about where their relationship is headed. Here are some other problems associated with living with a woman before marriage. Problem number 1. The children suffer. 75% of children born to cohabiting parents will see their parents split up before they reach age 16, whereas only about 33% of children born to married parents face a similar fate. Problem number 2. The quality of the marriage suffers. Marital quality is lower among those who started living together before engagement or marriage. Problem number 3. Couples that live together prior to marriage are more likely to stay in a toxic relationship longer than they should, because once you live with someone, it's harder to find the escape hatch. Oftentimes, you will unconsciously turn a blind eye to toxic habits because you depend on each other. Remaining separate prior to marriage allows you to establish yourself and be comfortable in your own space without compromising. From this position, you can objectively view the relationship for what it's worth and get out quickly if it's toxic. You will also be able to comfortably vet a woman for the red flags that I discussed in episode 44. Problem number 4. Living with a woman prior to marriage limits your ability to maneuver and set a comfortable lifestyle for yourself during your relationship. On the other hand, living separately will allow you to establish frame control and establish behavioural patterns that you want her to abide by if you're going to pledge a formal commitment to her. For the betterment of your own marriage and your own self, you should not live with a woman before marriage. There is a caveat to this rule. If you have children with a woman by accident before marriage, then you should live with the mother of your children for the benefit of your children. A child that is raised in a single-parent household is worse off in every single measurable social metric. They are also worse off when compared to every other discriminatory factor, including gender, race, religion, sexual orientation, and financial background. Your child must live in a two-parent household to be given the best opportunities in life. However, this problem wouldn't exist if you didn't have children with a woman before marriage either. Abstention number 2. Don't have children with a woman before marriage. Having children with a woman prior to marriage opens you up to a world of trouble. Men have absolutely no reproductive rights to a fetus. Once a woman becomes pregnant, she has a monopoly over everything for that fetus. A woman can support, abort, or extort. This is your reproductive rights as a man. Basically, the only time a man gets what he wants is when it aligns identically with what a woman wants. If it pleases her, she can make your life hell. She can leverage children to her advantage in any way she sees fit. If you are married, you maximize the opportunity of getting your desired outcome because you're in the marriage together. Here are my finishing thoughts. As a man, you need to vet the future mother of your children for years before you have children with her. Do not get married to a woman that you will not be having children with. There is no added benefit, and you absorb all the financial risk. A marriage contract in the Western world is unconscionable. Until the laws around marriage and divorce change, my views on marriage will stay the same. When you commit to a woman, she gains full power over you, and you limit your ability to maneuver. A woman reserves the right to change her mind about being married to you at any point in time. This is very common in Western culture, with more than half of all marriages failing. And of these failed marriages, 70% of the divorce is initiated by the woman. The leverage women have over men in today's society is ruining everything about relationships, families, and the union of marriage. Present day, there really isn't the practical perception of marriage that there was for our grandparents, especially from a man's point of view. All things being equal, a man and a woman in the same household foster the best development of children. If you have ambitions to have a family, you may want to consider marriage. Having children ties a man to a woman in a similar way that marriage does. In both these situations, you're exposing yourself to losing all your assets. If you still want to get married and start a family, then you need to take out an insurance policy to protect your assets should a woman initiate divorce proceedings on you. This insurance policy is known as a prenuptial agreement. Don't get married to a woman who won't sign a prenuptial agreement. Cut your losses and move on. Vetting a woman for at least 4 years prior to marriage from a separate household is also a great technique to mitigate risk. All of these things in combination will minimise the risk of exposure should you take the plunge and elect to get married. Thanks for watching today's episode. In episode 67, I'll be discussing the crazy hot scale. Subscribe and hit the bell icon to be notified when it drops. Catch you then.